Welcome to new video, Old Cryptocoin, the story of the 1962 Lincoln Memorial. Cent begins during an interesting period in the history of the United States, when everyday coins were more than just money. They were small pieces of national identity. The Lincoln 1-cent coin had already become one of the most recognizable coins in American history, carrying the image of Abraham Lincoln, a leader remembered for preserving the Union and ending slavery. By 1962, this coin had been in circulation for more than 50 years, and millions of Americans use it daily to buy groceries, newspapers, and small items. The design of the coin was created by Victor David Brenner, who introduced Lincoln's portrait in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. That decision changed American coinage forever, because before that time most U.S. coins featured symbolic figures instead of real historical leaders. When people in 1962 held a Lincoln cent in their hands, they were holding a design that had already become an American tradition. The obverse of the 1962 Liberty 1-cent coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty placed to the left of the portrait and the year 1962 on the right side. Above Lincoln's head appears a national motto, "In God We Trust," which had been placed on U.S. coins many years earlier to reflect the country's cultural and historical values. The reverse side of the coin displays the famous Lincoln Memorial Building located in Washington, D.C. Inside the memorial image, if you look very closely, you can even see the tiny seated statue of Abraham Lincoln. This reverse design was created by Frank Gasparo, and it replaced the earlier wheat ear design that had appeared on pennies from 1909 to 1958. By 1962, the Lincoln Memorial design had already been circulating for several years and had become familiar to collectors and everyday Americans alike. The coin was made mostly of copper, with a small amount of tin and zinc, giving it the reddish color that people associate with classic American pennies. During 1962, the coin was produced in large numbers at the famous United States Mint. Most of the coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time. Another large number were produced at the Denver Mint, and these coins carry the small letter D beneath the date. Millions upon millions of these coins entered circulation, making them one of the most common pennies of the early 1960s. Yet despite their large numbers, collectors still search carefully for coins that are in exceptional condition or that contain interesting minting errors. Sometimes small variations such as doubled letters, unusual coloration, or strong strike details can make a coin far more valuable than its face value of just 1 cent. The year 1962 was also a fascinating time in American history. The country was experiencing major technological progress, space exploration excitement, and cultural change. People watched television broadcasts about rockets and satellites, listened to popular music on the radio, and paid for everyday purchases using coins just like the 1962 Lincoln cent. For many Americans, the penny symbolized the idea that even the smallest unit of currency had value and meaning. Children often collected pennies in jars, saving them for toys or candy, while adults used them for exact change at stores. Because of this everyday connection, the Lincoln cent became one of the most emotionally recognizable coins in the nation. Collectors today often study the 1962 Liberty 1-cent coin carefully, examining its color, shine, and strike quality. Coins are usually classified into 3 general color categories: red, red-brown, and brown. A bright red coin that has been preserved carefully can be much more valuable than a warm brown coin that's circulated for decades. High-grade examples that remain almost perfectly preserved are especially desirable among coin collectors. Sometimes coins that were never used in circulation, known as uncirculated coins, can command much higher prices in auctions and collector markets. While most 1962 pennies are still worth only a small amount above face value, the finest examples can sell for much more depending on condition and rarity. Another fascinating aspect of this coin is the craftsmanship involved in its creation. Every Lincoln cent began as a small blank metal disc called a planchet. These planchets were fed into powerful coin presses at the mint, where enormous pressure stamped the designs onto the metal surface. Within a fraction of a second, a plain piece of metal was transformed into a detailed coin bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln and the Lincoln Memorial. The precision of these machines allowed the mint to produce huge numbers of coins quickly, ensuring that the growing American economy had enough small change for everyday transactions. Even though the process was highly industrial, the artistic detail of the design remained clear and elegant. For modern collectors and history enthusiasts, the 1962 Liberty 1-cent coin is more than just a penny. It is a small window into the early 1960s in America. Each coin carries marks of its journey, from the moment it left the mint to the years it spent moving from one person's pocket to another's. Some coins traveled through stores, banks, and homes across the country, while others were saved by collectors who recognized their historical significance. Today, when someone discovers a 1962 Lincoln cent in an old jar of coins or inside a forgotten collection, it can spark curiosity about the history behind it. The legacy of the Lincoln penny continues even today. For more than a century, the image of Abraham Lincoln has remained on the 1-cent coin, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. Generations of Americans have grown up seeing Lincoln's portrait on the smallest coin in their currency system. The 1962 Liberty 1-cent coin represents a moment in that long tradition, connecting modern collectors with a time when copper pennies jingled in pockets across the country. Whether it's found in loose change, displayed in a collector's album, or passed down through a family collection, this small coin continues to remind us that even the simplest piece of currency can hold a powerful story of history, art, and national identity. If you look closely at a 1962 Lincoln penny today, you might realize that it is much more than a single cent. It is a tiny historical artifact from the United States, carrying the image of one of the nation's greatest leaders and representing the everyday life of millions of people during a remarkable era. And that is why collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts continue to admire and study the 1962 Liberty 1-cent coin, proving that even the smallest coin can tell a story that lasts for generations.